Earlier this week, I was on a coaching call with one of my online students. He told me how he approached this young, beautiful girl on the streets of New York. She was from Latvia, she was a ballet dancer, and he got her number. So I was really proud of him because he waited so long. The hesitation was so long, like years, for him to finally take the steps and start cold approach. So he got a number. That was great. He went on to telling me his plans for his first date with that girl because she agreed to wanting to meet him over text. And he told me proudly how he booked this fancy restaurant because he knows the restaurant scene in New York. He managed to get a reservation in this nice place where it's really hard to get a reservation in. He got this nice table. And there's a dress code there and it's really fancy and the girl will love it. Okay, so I'll tell her to be there on Thursday at 8 p.m. dressed really nicely, and I will tell her that the lobster in this restaurant is the best. And he was kind of like proud.
Oh my God!
I get his viewpoint, right? Like, he's a gentleman. He doesn't want to seem like a cheap TikTok swiping boy. He wants to show principles. He wants to show that he's on time, that he's serious, that he's an executive, and he wants to impress the girl in that sense. So I see where he's coming from, but I still had to basically stop him and say, no, don't do this as the first date. Don't do an expensive, fancy, stressful dinner as the first occasion where you're trying to meet this girl and trying to get to know her further. So in this video, I want to explain a bit more what I explained him on that call and talk about the principles of what makes a good first date. Principle number 1 is keep it simple. This is basically the main thing that was wrong with this student's approach and idea for the date. You are still getting to know the girl. You don't even know yet if you are gonna like the girl. And she obviously doesn't know if she's gonna like you. You have to think about it in a way of, would you put a lot of money into a company that you don't know anything about? Would you buy a stock that you don't know much about? Would you buy some shit coin on some weird exchange that you don't know much about? Actually, a lot of people do these days, but that's another story. Imagine a guy at the gym comes up to you and instead of just like spotting you for 1 rep of bench press, he's like, hey, you want to be my fitness buddy for the next month? Let's go on a transformational journey together. The investment that you ask of her is just too high. Keep it simple. Make it super casual. The best kind of idea or the best offer and introduction to meeting you is when you can frame it in a way of, hey, I'm doing this thing anyway, like I've planned this thing, or this is a regular thing I'm doing, or every Saturday I do this, or here I have a group of people that always do that. Come and join. Why don't you come and join? Why don't you come with me? Could also be something like, hey, the weather is nice. I wanna take a walk. I've been working all day. You wanna join me? Or I'm meeting some friends in the park. They're teaching me how to slackline. You wanna join me? Or even better, come join me. Like, why don't you join me? Or would be cool if you come as well. This is not only good from your side because it doesn't show too much investment too early. Remember, one of the biggest turnoffs for a woman is if the guy is into her too early. Yes, she wants to be desired. Yes, she wants to know that, she's beautiful and you want her. But she doesn't want to feel that you need her and please and don't change and please be on time and I'm waiting for you and I invested already. I booked the table already, or I bought 2 tickets. They're really expensive. It's the golden area right in front of the stage. I'm doing so much for you because you're so important for me. This turns women off not because they don't feel desired or anything like that. It just shows that you are a man who doesn't have many options, and as soon as he has one option, which is her in this case, he clings onto it and he doesn't let go of it. Big turnoff. It shows you're not really a high value man who has women come in and out of your life regularly. Also, from her point of view, a casual, easy date in open daylight or in an open area, not enclosed, gives her the option to quit as well, right? Maybe you want to leave early, maybe she wants to leave early. Maybe you guys just don't get along. So if you in a park, walking on a river, walking up a hill, hanging out, playing guitar with friends, having a smoothie, going, through IKEA, anything really casual that you're up to anyway, looking for a new couch, looking at new decoration, buying Halloween costumes together, all that kind of stuff. She can always just say, oh, sorry, I really need to go. Oh, I have to do my homework. Or, oh, my friend just broke up with her boyfriend and she needs my support. She can always escape as well. Not that she wants to, but giving her the option will make it way easier for her to say yes in the first place. Simple story from my life. I was working all day back when I was editing videos all day long. It was raining for 2 days straight. I was in Budapest. Sky cleared, the sun came through. Let's take a walk. So I was actually texting 3 girls the same thing. It was 3 girls that I all met through day game the previous week. I was like, hey, I'm having a walk. Finally some sunshine. Finally I can get a fresh breath of air. Walking up the hill, it's a beautiful view over town. Why don't you join me and we enjoy the view together? Something like that. One of the 3 girls responded, which again just shows, even if you're really good at this, even if you approach a lot, it is a numbers game. By approaching a lot, you have the luxury of having many options and being able to lock in 2 or 3 girls at the same date, because 50% she's gonna flake anyway. One of the 3 agreed. She came with me up the hill. I had the opportunity to, it's like a bit steep here and there, so we were like out of breath. I'm like, hey, let's sit down here for 2 minutes, because every 2 minutes there's a bench. We can sit down. I can get close to her. I can lean in on her a bit. I can touch her a bit. Walking up the hill, I can be funny, pushing her or putting my arm on her ass a little bit to push her or something like that. And I can get touchy in a way that doesn't seem forced, that seems very natural, that makes me able to back off again and just walk next to her if I feel like, okay, now I should create some space again between us. And, we ended up finding this secret way. Yeah, we made out on that first date, and then a few days later we saw each other again straight at my place. So was that an incredible creative date idea, walking up the hill to look at the view and enjoying the sunshine? Not at all. And that's the point. Principle number 2 is opportunities for touch. I remember this awkward, cringy date back in primary school or high school. I was into this girl. She was into me. It could have been way easier than the way I did it. So I invited her to the cinema, right? I think many of you can relate. When we're young, we think the cinema is a great idea for a date. For a first date, it's a horrible idea. Obviously, it's a great date with your girlfriend. You're actually enjoying the movie and you're not constantly stressed about touching her and putting your arm around her. But as a first date, it is cringy. Well, I didn't know that back then. So I was sitting there trapped in this 2-hour movie. I couldn't enjoy the movie at all because all I was thinking about was, when do I touch her? When is the right moment? Oh my God, I touched her. Oh no, does she like it? And now you're trapped in the seat. If you make a mistake, you have to sit there for another hour. She sees how you're kind of getting stressed, how you're not enjoying the movie. She doesn't enjoy the movie. It's not really an enjoyable experience, when the point of the date should be getting to know each other, being able to share something about yourself, being able to draw information out of her, an investment out of her, and of course, to touch her, to escalate, to feel each other out. Movie, bad idea in that sense. Similar is the restaurant example that I mentioned at the beginning, right? Usually in a restaurant, especially in a fancy one, you cannot really move chairs around. So you're gonna be stuck there looking at each other's face for 2 or 3 hours. Because another thing about a fancy restaurant, you sit down, then you wait for the waiter. Then he brings you the menu and he leaves. Then he comes back again to ask what you want to drink. Then he comes back again to bring the drinks, then he leaves. Then he comes back again to ask you what you want to eat.
What will you be having, sir?
Yes, I'll have what I had last time, pheasant on the glass.
Don't you mean pheasant under glass?
Nope.
Then he comes back again, brings you some bread, some butter. Then he leaves again. Then he comes back to ask you what you want to eat. Then you have to remind him, hey, is the food coming? Then he comes back with the first food and, oh, this one is the blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, right? You're sitting there, you're stressed. We're getting to that point later, but basically a dinner date stretches out for such a long time, which doesn't help with the first principle that we said, that she should be able to leave, and it doesn't help with the second principle, which is opportunities for touch. You just stare across from each other, looking at each other, I don't know, eat steak or spaghetti or a salad and it's dripping over your face. Not good. Way more casual, could be like a wine bar, a cool cafe place, a juice bar, where either there's couches where you easily can move chairs around, which is no big deal at all. If you come into a cafe, just move a chair, doesn't matter. Now you're sitting maybe 90 degrees from her, or you're sitting literally next to her. You can even just shift your body weight or just get close to her or make a point, or when you make a joke, you look at her or you show her something on your phone and you lean in. or you take her hand. One of the first things I do when I do arrive in a new city and I know I will be going out, I will be doing cold approach, I want to meet ladies, is I check out what are the 2-3 spots in the city that I can take girls to on dates. And how do I choose these spots? Just as a side tangent, one must be really close to my house. So if I'm successfully escalating, I can take her straight home. Ideally, all of these places are very close to my apartment. Then what is one that is super quick, super easy, opened also on weekends, and for like a quick 10-15 minutes getting to know each other date, which I also do, and that's kind of a topic for another video. I try to have different price ranges, right? What is the super cheap date and what is the maybe more fancy, more elegant kind of date that I could choose as a second date? Or if I, know, okay, maybe I bring other friends or I want to combine it with a business dinner and it should just be a little more high class. And another little side note, if you're thinking now, oh yeah, I know some of these places and they're like a 47-minute drive away, then you're living in the wrong area. If you're a single man who actively wants to date and improve his dating life and start cold approaching, it is crucial that you live in an area where you can, first of all, meet girls, see girls, approach girls, and take girls on dates, and then easily, without complicated logistics, can take them back to your apartment. Which brings me to the next principle, which is relaxed environment. As I mentioned with the restaurant, awkward, right? You're sitting there, you're waiting for the waiter, you need to remind people to bring your food, you need to get his attention. If you're not totally settled, which, is hard if you're in front of a girl and you care about her because you met her and you want that she thinks you're cool and you think she's really beautiful and you're excited and it's the first date and you don't want to fuck up. And then you also have to deal with logistics like restaurants, waiters, standing in line forever, loud environment, sitting in the cinema next to each other, anything other like totally logistical stuff where like you quickly have to catch this metro and then that connects to the other one and you quickly have to change from this to the other, but it's raining, or you really need to catch a taxi to get there, but it's rush hour and your Uber account just got banned and then now you're creating an account in this other Uber app, Bolt, and then your email password doesn't, and you need the other phone and you need to call you. So all of this stuff is real. I'm speaking from experience. And it just makes you, first of all, stressed, look kind of like a bum, but mainly it takes you out of the moment. We always want to bring it back to, well, what is the purpose of the first date in the first place? As I mentioned, you want to get to know her, you want to share about yourself, you want to create sexual tension. We talk about this a bit later. You want to be able to escalate if it feels right. All of this takes you out of the moment and it just turns you into now a problem solver when you could have avoided all of this by just going into an environment where it's chill, where you know the place, you know the music is not too loud, you know you can order quickly or get it yourself, right? You know when they open, when they close, you know when it's starting to rain, there will be cover, or you can quickly around the block go over there. You kind of can predict the environment and it will be chill. You can actually lean in and focus on her. You don't need to impress her with any weird show or circus or cinema or blah blah blah. She's there for you, right? She's not there to be entertained. She's not there to be wined and dined. Some girls are, but we don't want to date them. That's the principle. Choose an environment where 90% of the time you can focus on her and she can focus on you without any unnecessary distractions. Final principle is sex versus sexual tension. Now, I do speak a lot about escalation, and yes, working for many years with men around the world, one of the biggest problems they have is, I don't know how to escalate. I don't know when to escalate. I'm afraid to make a move. I'm afraid to look stupid. I'm afraid to show that I want her too much, right? So most men have the issue, especially the men I work with, they don't escalate enough. They're not confident enough in that sense. They're waiting for the right moment and then the moment never comes. So I do encourage everyone to make a move. I feel you. I spent dozens and dozens of dates and hours and literally hundreds of hours sitting across from girls or sitting next to girls, talking, trying to entertain them with topics and words and stories, when all I should have really done is own my masculinity, be solid in that frame and just touch them, escalate, because they were waiting for it, right? They showed up for the date, they wanted something to happen. You can go too far though. especially men, again, who don't live in abundance, who suddenly feel the touch of a woman and get really excited. Or maybe we're a bit drunk or tipsy. We get some touch and suddenly we get really horny, we get over-eager, we get euphoric and excited, and we want to have sex. And now we are constantly touching her. We're constantly kissing her. We are trying to get her out of the bar as soon as possible, right? We're saying, hey, why don't we come to my place? Let's get out of here, da-da-da. This can be good in small percentage of cases where she's just down and that's it, and she just wants to get laid. Cool, perfect. But in my experience and with experience with clients, this can destroy the sexual tension. So please remember, especially on a first date, your goal is not to have sex. Sometimes it happens, cool. But if it doesn't happen, you didn't like fuck up or anything like that. You fucked up if you really wanted it to happen, and by you pushing too hard, you destroyed all the mystery. You destroyed the story, and you were, again, needy. I talked about this before. She knew in that moment, this guy just wants to fuck me, and he's overeager, and he's horny, and he probably didn't get laid in a long time. I'm just now a sexual object for him. You're destroying that little story in her head that is like, oh my God, what is this? He's flirtatious, he's touching me. He's a real man, he's a gentleman, but he's also not afraid to escalate. But he also takes it easy, he takes it slow, he backs off again. This is exciting, I'm feeling seduced, right? That is exciting for a woman. Be very careful. You want to create sexual tension. You don't want to create sex. That's not the goal. And sexual tension you create with pressure and release, with touching and backing off, with strong eye contact and then relaxing again, with maybe talking about sexual topics a little bit, but then changing the topic again, by making a hint that something might happen, but then forgetting about it again. And then, of course, knowing over years and gaining experience, knowing when to totally back off and just leave it there for now, and maybe, create more tension over time through texting, your social media, seeing her on a house party. Depending on the hotness of girl, maybe she needs way more investment. Maybe she needs to actually see you in power at your workplace or in a social setting. And other girls, they're just down. But yeah, principle here, you don't need sex, you need to create sexual tension. Me and my students are discussing topics like these and much more every day in the Discord, which is a part of my Social Academy program. We talk about first dates, we talk about how to create a great Tinder profile, we talk about what to text when you got a girl's number, we talk about what to say when you just approach the girl. This is part of the Social Academy program. You find all the information down below. If you want to join this incredible brotherhood, you can click and read everything about it before you make a decision. And other than that, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.